You're listening to the Empowered Woman, Badass and Unfiltered podcast, a place for inspiration, empowerment, and personal development, showcasing badass women from all over the world, giving tips on personal development, mindset, and healing. I'm your host, Olivia, transformational success coach for spiritual female entrepreneurs. Now let's dive into this episode. Welcome back to the Empowered Woman, Badass and Unfiltered podcast. Your host, Olivia here, and I am so pumped to talk to you about this topic because if you clicked on this, it is obviously time for you to get your stuff together. And we've all been there, right? I mean, you, me, and a whole bunch of other people that still ain't got their stuff together. But realizing that it's like, okay, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time for me to make a change. Well, I'm going to give you tips, of course, because that's just the person I am. But I'm also going to tell you about this amazing thing that I created to really give you an extra foothold in this whole process and making it so much easier and better for you as well. So first off, we gotta identify why you don't feel like you got your stuff together. What is it in your life that could be better? Write down. Now there are going to be exercises. Warning. There are going to be multiple exercises that I'm going to just give you throughout this whole entire podcast. So just have some notes on the side. If you're driving, don't take any notes. Listen to this. Maybe come back and listen to this again. If you can't remember, but note the ones that you are interested in doing. And I like to start this out with, what could in your life could be better? Go ahead and write down everything that could be better realistically. And then actually analyze how you're spending your time. And one of my favorite ways to do this is by a time. Literally, the name of the thing has lost my mind right now, but basically in 30-minute intervals, you write down what you're doing. Some people go as far as every 15 minutes, they write down what it is they're doing throughout the day. They just do one day of this long, tedious thing to see how they're actually spending their time. High-level executives do this to find efficiency in their schedules. So if you're like, oh my goodness, that sounds like too much. If that's too much for you, then you might not want to get to the next level that you think you really want to, in all honesty. I understand that everybody has very different goals and all of these other things, but the world's a little crazy right now, and you got to be driven and focused for what you want to do. And if you can't even take one day to just keep up with all the things that you got going on, you're not going to ever be in the place where you feel like you got everything under control. So I'm just going to put that out there. I mean, everybody's got their own ways and methods and things like that. This is one of the prep work things, because I'm one of those advocates that prep work is everything. This is one of those things that you have to include really how you spend your time. So maybe you're not going to do it for every 30 minutes, but maybe every hour. What did you do in that hour? How are you spending a typical day? And don't be surprised if you find yourself being a little more productive because you just are holding yourself accountable, because in this world, we got to hold ourselves accountable. But yes, exercise, that's actually exercise 2. So exercise 1 is writing everything down that you want to be better in your life, right? Then the second one is to write down how you spend an average day, because how you spend your time doing the tasks that you do, it's success is not an overnight thing. It's a compilation of a multitude of action steps and course correction and trying things out, and just changing up strategy, changing up things, but consistently moving forward in the direction that you want to go. That's the biggest part. Consistently moving forward in the direction that you want to go. And in what areas of your life are you not doing that? So seeing how you spend your time is really beneficial to be like, okay, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be spending 30 minutes on social media in the morning and another 45 when I'm bored a little later on. Or let's say if you got kids, maybe I shouldn't be, and I think a lot of people are guilty of this too, doing things that are not benefiting them. I find that a lot of parents use their children as an excuse to not get where they want to, but I also know a lot of other mothers of multiple children that are doing crazy things. And you know what? I'm not trying to mom shame at all, but let's not use our kids as excuses. Who is it? I flipping love her. And I'm just like, I look at her, I'm like, oh my God, I could never. I could never. Maybe I could, but still, she is free, cheap, or fun. That lady, she's got like 900,000 people on her YouTube. She used to be like super frugal. She still is frugal. They have like 8 kids. All right. And this lady is just like on it. Like she just shows up as her authentic self, just like it is so cool. It's so cool. God, I'm gonna have to correction. It is fun, cheap, or free. That's her YouTube channel. She is Jordan Page. She's got like 900,000 people and she just does the most. She be doing the most. And it's, you know what? I started like getting down this like rabbit hole of like people with multiple children and just like looking at how like productive they are and how they do things to work for their big, large families. And she's running a huge company, along with being a mother to 8 children and a wife, you know. So let's not use our kids as excuses anymore. I'm not here for that. Anyway, now that I've stopped talking about that, what I actually have for people that are like, okay, so I gotta write down this stuff. I gotta, keep up with what I'm doing in a day. I need to find a way to be more productive somehow. This is really where I come in. I created this workshop for female entrepreneurs and content creators, specifically in mind, that are overworked and overwhelmed. They're struggling with consistency, self-discipline, overbooking, overscheduling, being unorganized, comparison. Like we're talking mindset here too. Burnout, self-doubt, low self-esteem, and low self-confidence. It can be one, a few, all of them things. Those are the things that I'm currently addressing in this workshop. And it is called the Get Your Stuff Together workshop. And what's all included is really the pillars of the things that I do coaching on. So productivity, mindset, and using your menstrual cycle to your benefit. If you don't have a menstrual cycle, that's okay. The big parts are the productivity and the mindset. The menstrual cycle just kind of flows on in there, no pun intended. So what's included is it's a 2-hour live interactive workshop. So it's me, you, a few other people. We're talking. I have capped it at a certain amount of people because I want to be able to make sure I give the proper amount of attention to everyone in need, and that has specific questions. So if we do go over 2 hours, we just go over 2 hours. I want to make sure I answer the questions that need to be answered. I will be sending a replay after the workshop. It will include a workbook for you to use for the next 6 months. So this workshop is made for you to get your mind right, get your find out a real strategies and everything to be productive and what's going to work for your life, and implement them throughout the next 6 months. And again, there's a workbook that you can take, that you're going to take along with you to be like, okay, this is what I need to say. These are the things that I need to do. This workbook is going to include things like, your own personalized affirmations that I'm going to teach you how to write in this workshop. Your that time thing that I was telling you about earlier, it's going to have that in there. So there's a lot of different things in this workbook. And it's really going to be a true game plan to help you improve your life and finally get your stuff together. So it's kind of like a DIY coaching session. It's just one initial investment for the workshop itself, but then you can go on and be in such a better place in the next 6 months. So a few of the things that I'll be going over in each section. So productivity, we're going to be talking about like calendar blocking, setting up a realistic routine for you. Rest versus procrastination, and boundaries. Now, boundaries are going to be talked about in productivity and mindset because there's a lot around that. Now into the mindset piece, I'm actually in the workbook, I'm having a find out what's holding you back PDF. This is so important for you to work on. And it's something you can use throughout the 6 months. And go back to get really deep down and be like, okay, why do I feel this way? Why is it this thing? Okay, let's not do this, and to get back on track, because let's face it, there are things that are out of our control that really throw us off track. We're going to talk about a lot of mindset stuff, how to properly use social media as producers and not consumers, and also to not get involved in the comparison trap. And setting boundaries with your personal life, your business life, and your social media. Building self-discipline, because listen, you got to have that, and that's the thing. If you really want to accomplish the goals that you've got going on, we're going to talk self-worth. Money mindset PDF is actually going to be included in the workbook as well. It's just so much. It's so much. And again, how to use your menstrual cycle to your benefit. I'm actually going to show you the science behind it and just go super, super deep into that. So if you're interested in actually participating in the workshop, click the link below. It's going to take you to my landing page, and it'll give you so much more information about all the stuff. And then you book, and you pay at the booking right away. And that's it. That's it. We'll send you a few reminder emails and get everything out to you. Now, if you found this helpful, definitely send it to somebody else. If this is something that it sounds like, you might need help with, definitely sign up. Definitely sign up. This is something that is for you. And yeah, with all that being said, go out and be a badass. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Empowered Woman, Badass and Unfiltered podcast. If you found any value in this, please consider sharing and subscribing. Now go out and be a badass.